To audiences around the world, Hayley Mills's early career looks like a dream carefully wrapped in sunshine and music. By the early 1960s, she had become the very picture of youthful charm, celebrated for her warmth, intelligence, and seemingly effortless talent. Yet behind that glowing image was a young girl navigating pressures far larger than she was prepared for. When people speak about the one episode Hayley Mills has openly admitted she refuses to watch, it isn't scandal or controversy that explains her discomfort, but something quieter and far more human. It represents a moment when success moved faster than understanding, when expectations grew heavier than excitement. While fans often look back at that era with nostalgia, Hayley has always viewed it with more complexity. For her, that particular episode captures not a triumph, but a vulnerable moment frozen in time, one she chooses not to reopen. Growing up, surrounded by art and expectation, Hayley Mills was born in London in 1946 into a household steeped in creativity and performance. As the daughter of acclaimed actor John Mills and writer Mary Hayley Bell, she was immersed in storytelling from the beginning. Scripts, rehearsals, and discussions about craft were part of daily life, creating an environment that encouraged imagination while also setting a high bar. From an early age, Hayley understood that acting was not simply play, but discipline and responsibility. This foundation nurtured her confidence, but it also meant that when opportunities arrived, they arrived with expectations attached. Her parents were supportive and protective, yet the world she entered was demanding. Long before she could fully grasp fame, Hayley learned that talent alone was not enough. Professionalism, composure, and consistency were quietly expected, even from a child still discovering who she was. Early stardom and sudden responsibility. Hayley Mills's breakthrough came quickly, and with it, intense public attention. Her early performances revealed a natural emotional intelligence that set her apart from other young actors. Critics praised her authenticity, and audiences embraced her instantly. Success, however, brought responsibility far beyond her years. Film schedules, publicity commitments, and constant observation became routine while she was still growing emotionally. Unlike adult performers, she had little control over pacing or boundaries. Each role added to her reputation, and each appearance reinforced the idea that she represented something larger than herself. While many children dream of such recognition, Hayley found herself balancing excitement with quiet anxiety. She was aware that people depended on her performance, her behavior, and even her demeanor. That awareness, though subtle, created pressure that accumulated slowly, shaping how she experienced those early years of fame. The Disney era and Perfect Expectations working with Disney in the early 1960s transformed Hayley Mills into an international icon. Films like Pollyanna and The Parent Trap showcased her range, warmth, and remarkable screen presence. She became a symbol of optimism, intelligence, and wholesome charm, carefully framed by studio expectations. Audiences saw a bright, confident young star who seemed entirely at ease in the spotlight. What they could not see was the effort required to maintain that image. Being the Disney girl meant constant composure, emotional restraint, and a sense of responsibility to millions of viewers. Hayley has often spoken about how thrilling this period was, but also how overwhelming it could feel. She was praised endlessly, yet rarely allowed to slow down. The image of perfection left little room for fatigue, uncertainty, or emotional missteps. A lesser-known episode from a heavy year. The episode Hayley Mills Refuses to Watch was filmed during 1961, at the height of her Disney success. At just 14, she was balancing film production, press appearances, and public expectations without fully understanding their emotional cost. Unlike her major film roles, this television appearance came at a time when she was exhausted and stretched thin. Years later, Hayley explained that she remembers feeling anxious, physically drained, and unsure of herself during that shoot. For her, the episode is not about its content or quality, but about how she felt while making it. It captures a moment when momentum carried her forward faster than she could process. Watching it now would mean revisiting a version of herself who was simply trying to get through each day, carrying responsibilities she was too young to fully comprehend. Performance and self-doubt behind the camera. Another reason Hayley Mills avoids that episode lies in how she views her own performance. With the clarity of hindsight, she recognizes that the material required emotional nuance she did not yet possess. At 14, she was talented, but still learning confidence and self-trust. Hayley has described feeling unprepared, worried she might disappoint the adults guiding her career. That fear stayed with her, imprinting the experience with discomfort rather than pride. Seeing herself on screen in that moment would reopen memories of insecurity and self-criticism. Unlike her film roles, where she felt supported and understood, this episode reminds her of uncertainty. It reflects a stage where she was still developing, still fragile, and painfully aware of being evaluated. Preserving distance from that memory has become a way of honoring her younger self's vulnerability. The contrast with the parent trap. What makes this episode especially difficult for Hayley Mills is its timing alongside the parent trap. While the film presented her at her most confident and beloved, the episode captured a quieter, more strained reality. To the public, 1961 appeared magical, filled with charm and success. For Hayley, it was also a year of emotional overload. The contrast between public perception and private experience makes that episode feel out of place in her memory. It shows a version of herself that doesn't match the story audiences remember. Watching it would feel like opening a private journal rather than revisiting a professional achievement. Hayley has explained that some moments are not meant for reflection or celebration. They belong to personal growth, not public nostalgia, and this episode remains firmly in that category. A career that continued to evolve. Despite early pressures, Hayley Mills successfully transitioned into adult roles, building a career defined by choice rather than expectation. She moved fluidly between film, television, and theatre, selecting projects that allowed for depth and maturity. Performances in series like The Flame Trees of Thika revealed a grounded actress capable of quiet strength and emotional complexity. Over time, she learned to step away when needed and return on her own terms. This autonomy marked a significant shift from her childhood years. Her later work reflects balance, self-awareness, and confidence shaped by experience. The fact that one early episode still remains unwatched does not diminish her career. Instead, it highlights her growth, demonstrating that longevity sometimes comes from knowing what not to revisit as much as what to celebrate. Choosing what to remember and what to leave behind. Today, Hayley Mills speaks about her past with grace and honesty. She understands why fans are curious about the episode she avoids, but she remains gently firm in her choice. For her, refusing to watch it is not regret but self-preservation. It represents respect for a younger version of herself who carried immense pressure with limited understanding. Some memories, she believes, do not need revisiting to be acknowledged. Hayley's story reminds us that behind every polished performance is a human being navigating fear, growth, and expectation. Her refusal is not about denial, but about boundaries. In choosing what to leave in the past, she has shaped a life and career defined not by nostalgia, but by quiet self-respect and emotional wisdom.